There comes a time in every woman's life when she realizes the world has shifted its gaze elsewhere, when youth is no longer currency and fashion's spotlight dims, just as her spirit begins to shine its brightest. After 50, they try to sell us invisibility. Muted tones, safe choices, clothes that whisper, fade quietly. But you, my dear, were never meant to fade. You were meant to command space without apology, to enter a room and shift the air, not with noise, but with presence. And sometimes that presence begins with a single accessory, not youth chasing, not trend screaming, but intentional, refined. Certain. The right accessory isn't just a piece of fashion, it's a declaration, a structured bag that says, I know who I am, a silk scarf that whispers, I pay attention to my details, a brooch worn over the heart that quietly honors every chapter you've lived. Accessories are not distractions, they are punctuation marks to the poetry of your presence. They draw the eye to what matters, your smile, your gaze, the softness you've earned, the strength you carry. Because after 50, elegance becomes less about what's worn and more about how it's worn, not cluttered, but considered, not loud, but lasting. You don't need a closet full of trends. You need a few sacred pieces that speak fluently in your language. A woman over 50 doesn't need to dress to impress. She dresses to express. This is about finishing touches that begin a story, about polish, that says you care, about details that reflect your inner richness, a structured handbag, a graceful pair of pearl studs, a scarf in motion as you walk. These are not mere things. They are tools of intention. And the most powerful transformation is not about changing who you are, but adorning who you've become. So if you've ever stood before the mirror and thought, this feels unfinished, you were right, not because you lack beauty, but because you deserve more than basics. You deserve to be seen, to be admired, to be remembered. And today, that begins with one choice, one accessory, one step back into your light. Let's redefine elegance, not as youth recaptured, but as wisdom revealed, one accessory at a time. There's a reason we're drawn to form, to shape, to structure. Because structure says something before we ever speak, and nothing does this quite like a structured leather handbag. It doesn't slouch, it doesn't collapse. It holds itself with grace, just like you do after 50, after 60, after the years have taught you that presence isn't about size, but about stillness and strength. A structured bag tells the world, I'm composed. I'm intentional. I carry only what matters, not stuffed to the brim, not lost in chaos, but refined, purposeful, balanced. You don't need loud patterns or giant logos to look polished. What you need is clean lines, supple leather, soft yet firm, colors that whisper richness. Camel oxblood, black navy taupe. You need a bag that doesn't follow trends, but lives in time. A top handle, a crossbody, a timeless tote that sits beside you like an old friend. Because elegance is not about more. It's about what's left after you've removed everything that doesn't serve you anymore. And this accessory is more than fashion. It's metaphor. It tells the story of the woman who no longer carries everyone else's expectations. She carries only what nurtures her, what empowers her, what aligns with her. Now a structured handbag holds your lip balm and your wisdom, your receipts and your memories. It's where your essentials live, but also your essence. It frames an outfit with quiet command, takes jeans and a blouse, and elevates them to something intentional, effortless, whole. It walks into a room with you as if to say, she's arrived, and she knows exactly why she's here. So don't overlook this one. Don't dismiss it as ordinary, because the right handbag is a reflection of your self-respect, of your boundaries, of the life you now carry with clarity and care. And when you rest it beside you at lunch, or hang it gracefully on your forearm at brunch, people won't just see your outfit, they'll feel your presence, because this accessory doesn't scream wealth. It whispers worth, and worth is the richest kind of elegance there is. If elegance had a breeze, it would wear silk, soft, fluid, unapologetically feminine. The silk scarf is grace in motion. It flutters, but never falters. It draws the eye, without ever begging for it. For women over 60, this isn't just an accessory. It's a signature, a whisper of refinement that lingers long after you've passed. You've lived long enough to know that the smallest details hold the most meaning. A scarf tied gently at your neck, looped through your hair, or knotted on the handle of your bag. It tells the world, I thought about this, and more importantly, I thought about me. True silk moves with breath, not stiffness. It doesn't cling, it glides. It doesn't shout, it shimmers. It doesn't try too hard, it already belongs. Choose rich tones that flatter your spirit. Sapphire, ivory, rose gold, olive green, or gentle burgundy. Patterns? Yes, but not loud. Think vintage florals, graceful Baroque swirls, or a quiet geometric that speaks more than it says. And when you wear it, don't fuss, let it drape, let it fall, let it move with you. The beauty is in the effortlessness, because at this stage, you don't need to prove anything. You've already become. A silk scarf frames the face, softens lines, and highlights what matters most: your smile, your eyes, your calm presence. And on days when your hair isn't cooperating or your outfit feels too simple, this little piece of silk turns everything around. It transforms not just how you look, but how you carry yourself. Because it's not just fabric, it's history. It's softness earned from strength lived. Many women collect them, some pass them down, but those who wear them, truly wear them, understand their power. The scarf doesn't age, it evolves, just like you. And when the breeze catches it, as you step into the world, people notice. Not because it's flashy, but because it's real, refined, respected. You could wear diamonds, you could wear lace, but a silk scarf. That's soul. So wrap it, drape it, own it, because this simple strand of elegance might be the quietest thing you wear, but it will be the loudest thing they remember. A brooch is not just jewelry, it's a memory, a moment, a miniature sculpture that lives over your heart. It's the one thing that doesn't beg for attention, yet always gets it. Because when a woman over 60 pins something right above her heart, you know it means something. Maybe it belonged to your mother, or maybe you bought it in a quiet shop in Venice on a day you'll never forget. Maybe it was a gift from no one but yourself, on a day you finally said, I deserve beauty. The brooch is storytelling without speaking. It's elegance that doesn't need a stage. It's the final punctuation to a look that already whispers grace. Golden leaves, clustered pearls, delicate florals, or sculptural spirals. Whatever it is, it reflects you, not your outfit. You pin it to your wool coat. On chilly days when your hands are wrapped around a warm drink, or let it sparkle on the shoulder of your favorite black dress. Pin it to a scarf, a blazer, even the strap of your leather handbag, and watch as strangers smile without knowing why. It's not a trend, it's a tradition that evolves with you. And while others chase fast fashion, you've discovered the power of choosing one thing, one bold, intentional detail that says, I've lived, I remember, I shine quietly. You don't need it to be big, you don't need it to be expensive. You just need it to be true. And when you wear it with pride, with history in your posture and elegance in your breath. Let it anchor you to who you've been and open you to who you're still becoming. Because that's what style should always do. Tell the truth about the woman inside. So wear your brooch not for decoration, but for declaration. That you've seen decades, felt seasons shift, loved deeply, laughed richly, and still choose beauty. Let it shimmer like your spirit. Let it rest on your chest like a badge of honor. Because in a world that often overlooks older women, you are still a masterpiece. And the brooch, that tiny spark of story, is simply the exclamation point to your elegance. There's something about sunglasses that turns a simple moment into a statement. Not the kind that hides you, but the kind that reveals the strength behind your stillness. Because when a woman over 60 puts on sunglasses, she doesn't disappear. She becomes unmistakably seen. Think of it, not just as protection from the sun, but as protection from noise, from distraction, from anything that tries to blur your brilliance. The right pair frames your face with clarity, adds polish to a plain outfit, and says more than words ever could. You don't need trendy cat eyes or oversized novelties. What you need is timeless structure. Soft champagne tones, rich tortoiseshell, deep onyx black. Shades that echo your quiet confidence. Gold accents that glimmer without shouting. Clean lines that mirror the way you walk into a room, with purpose, with poise, with power. Sunglasses aren't just for sunny days. They're for the moments you step out of the car and want to carry a little mystery. They're for those days when makeup feels optional, but presence still matters. Think Jackie O, think Helen Mirren. Women who understood that elegance isn't about exposure, it's about intention. When you wear them, don't just cover your eyes, lift your chin, square your shoulders, let the world adjust to your pace. A simple white blouse and a well-tailored trouser suddenly becomes an ensemble because of the glasses, because of the woman who knew that grace is found in the finishing touch. Choose sunglasses that feel like you, not a disguise, but an extension of your story, of your strength, of your style. And remember this, you don't wear them to hide. You wear them to own your presence. You've earned the right to move through the world with serenity, with self-assurance, with just enough distance to see clearly and protect your energy. Because there's power in discretion, in choosing when to meet a gaze and when to hold your own space. So slip them on. Let them shield you, frame you, celebrate you, not just from the light, but from the noise, from the rush, from the things that no longer deserve your full attention. With one small gesture, you become art, refined, unbothered, unforgettable. Because the woman in those sunglasses knows exactly who she is, and she's not afraid to be seen. There is a certain beauty in knowing the time without reaching for a screen, a quiet power in glancing at your wrist and being reminded that every second is yours. The classic wristwatch, more than an accessory, it's a symbol, a rhythm, a presence. For the woman over 60, it doesn't just tick, it speaks. It says, I am here on purpose. I move to my own tempo. I do not rush, but I do not drift. While the world scrambles for notifications, you wear stillness in silver or gold or brushed rose metal that catches the light just enough to whisper refinement. Choose what suits you, a slender leather band, soft brown, classic black, or a stainless steel bracelet that hugs your wrist like a memory. Nothing digital, nothing glowing, nothing that pings. Elegance is analog. It's in the ticking, the grounding, the connection to presence, to poise, to your own internal compass. Because after 60, time feels different. It becomes sacred, precious, less about speed, more about depth. The right watch doesn't just mark hours, it honors them. You're not keeping up with the world anymore, you're moving with intention, and your watch moves with you. It balances, a hand that once wore many roles, mother, daughter, boss, lover. Now it wears wisdom. It grounds your arm when the rings shine too brightly, when the bracelets jingle, when the outfit is done, but not yet finished. This is the finishing. This is the weight that says, I respect where I'm going and where I've been. Don't think of it as old-fashioned. Think of it as eternal, because a woman with a wristwatch isn't watching the clock. She's owning it. She doesn't need to announce her schedule. Her presence says, I have places to be, not in a hurry, but with purpose. Pair it with a cream blouse, with a wool blazer, with denim, with silk. It never looks out of place because it isn't about fashion, it's about refinement. And even when you're not looking, it reminds others that you are never running late to your own life, so wear it. Not just as jewelry, but as a badge of self-respect, of grace, of elegance that does not waver with time, but only grows richer because of it. Some jewelry shouts, but not pearls, not studs. They whisper, they glow, they listen more than they speak, and that, my dear, is their power. For women over 60, these are not just earrings, they are soft punctuation to a life well spoken, not decoration, but illumination. They draw the eye upward, to your gaze, to your kindness, to the stories in your smile. You've earned every smile line, and these tiny orbs of light don't hide them. They honor them. Pearls have history. They've been worn by queens, by grandmothers, by women who understood restraint, women who knew that true beauty does not compete, it completes. There's a reason pearls are passed down, not because they're trendy, but because they endure, like you. A simple pearl stud, luminous, weightless, steady, says more than chandeliers, dripping from your ears, ever could. And what of diamond studs, or tiny gold posts? They too are quiet elegance. Not loud, but lasting. They sparkle when you laugh. They shimmer when you nod. They rest gently against silver hair, salt and pepper strands, or deep, rich waves, always complementing, never overshadowing. Match them to your skin's warmth. Cool ivory pearls. For rosy undertones, golden-hued pearls, for olive or golden skin. Diamonds, they flatter everyone. Wear them with linen, with velvet, with nothing but a confident gaze and a smile that says, I am enough, because you are. And when the world expects noise, these small earrings are a gentle rebellion. They say, I do not need to perform. I do not need to dazzle. I simply arrive. And people notice. You could wear them every day and never feel underdressed. You could wear them with an evening gown and still feel just right. Because pearl or stud earrings aren't trends, they're constants. And in a world that changes fast, that tries to tell older women what not to wear, what not to be, they're your quiet anchor. You don't need approval. You've outgrown that. Elegance doesn't begin at the neckline. It starts at the soles. Before your smile, before your scarf, before the glint of a brooch. It's your shoes that speak first. They tell the story of where you've been, of how you carry yourself, of whether you walk with purpose or apology. And here's the secret. You don't need dozens of pairs. You need the right ones. Well made, well loved, well polished. A classic loafer. In black or deep cognac, says I am grounded. A sleek ballet flat whispers softness, but never weakness. A leather ankle boot lends quiet strength. It doesn't shout, it strides. Polished footwear isn't about price, it's about presence. A $40 pair, cared for, cleaned, conditioned, loved, looks richer than a $400 pair. That's neglected. Because polish isn't just for shoes, it's a mindset. It says, I take pride in the details. I don't overlook the small things. I walk through life intentionally. Footwear frames your movement. It balances your silhouette. It lifts your posture without you realizing. Have you ever noticed how the right shoe makes you stand taller, not just in height but in confidence? That's no accident. It's because elegance begins with footing. Choose neutrals. Black, taupe, ivory, navy, rich brown. They work with everything. They won't betray you on rushed mornings. Look for quality materials. Genuine leather, suede, well-crafted soles that support your grace with every step. And then, care for them, keep them clean, keep them lifted. Replace the worn heel, polish away the scuffs, Store them lovingly, because how you treat your shoes is how you treat your journey. When you walk into a room, people may not look down right away, but your energy rises from the ground up. A polished shoe changes how you move. It changes how you feel. It changes what you allow and what you refuse. Because a woman in beautiful shoes that gleam with quiet pride, she doesn't chase attention, she draws it effortlessly. There are details that speak loudly, and there are details that whisper powerfully. The belt is the latter. It doesn't clamor for attention. It doesn't demand the spotlight. But it changes everything. It carves shape from softness. It adds structure to drape. It gathers intention at your center, right where your power lives. A tasteful belt isn't just a band of leather. It's the quiet architect of your silhouette. It says, "This is my waistline, no matter how age has softened it." It says, "I know where my strength lies." For women over 60, where clothes may flow more freely than they once did, the belt is your anchor, your line of definition, your signature. Go for quality. Always. Soft leather or supple faux leather that molds gently but holds firmly. Stick to neutrals that don't fight with the rest of your look: black, tan, ivory, warm brown, rich navy. Choose hardware that speaks in whispers, not screams. A small gold buckle, a brushed silver clasp, a polished tortoiseshell loop, not rhinestones, not oversized logos, not glitter or gimmicks, because elegance does not beg to be noticed. It simply is. A belt can go through the loops. Yes, but don't stop there. It can cinch a long cardigan, turning comfort into composure. It can wrap a blazer at the waist, adding soft structure to crisp lines. It can glide over a tunic, give form to a flowy dress, or elevate the most casual pair of jeans. It frames the body, but never confines it. It highlights curves or suggests them with quiet grace. And when worn well, a tasteful belt becomes more than an accessory. It becomes a message, a symbol that you honor your form as it is today, not as it was, not as it's expected to be, but as it beautifully exists now. It says, "I dress with care, I style with purpose, I show up fully." And perhaps that is the most elegant thing a woman can wear. There are things we wear that shimmer and shine, things that wrap us in silk, in cashmere, in gold, but the most powerful accessory is the one no one can see, the one that lingers. After you leave the room, the one that speaks before you say a word. It is scent, it is memory, it is your signature fragrance. For women over 60, a signature scent isn't just perfume, it's presence, it's poise. It's a quiet spell that settles into the air and makes people turn. Not to look, but to feel. A signature fragrance is not loud. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't follow trends. It becomes you. It wraps itself around your story, layer by layer. Choose one that speaks to your spirit, not your age, not society's rules. Soft jasmine for grace. Sandalwood for grounded power, vanilla and amber. For warmth, fresh bergamot. For clarity, let it bloom slowly on your skin, changing with your warmth, whispering your essence throughout the day. Unlike makeup, it doesn't fade with the mirror. Unlike clothes, it doesn't wrinkle with time. It settles into your scarf, your wrist, your neckline, a fragrant thread that ties your presence together. It doesn't demand that others notice. It invites them to remember. When you find your scent, don't just wear it. Claim it. Let it become part of your identity. The soft breath that says, "I am here. I am whole. I am unforgettable." People may forget your handbag, your shoes, even your name, but they will remember how you smelled when you leaned in to embrace them. They will remember how your perfume lingered like poetry in the air. Elegance isn't just seen, it's felt, and nothing speaks elegance quite like scent. So choose with care, spray with intention, and walk through the world like a bloom that never wilts. Let it be the last thing you put on, and the last thing they'll forget. Because you, my dear, are not just stylish, you are an atmosphere, an aura. Elegance isn't something you buy off a shelf. It's not stitched into fabric or hidden in a price tag. It's something deeper, wiser, quieter. It's in the way you place a brooch on your lapel, tie a silk scarf with care, slide on sunglasses, not to hide, but to own your space. Elegance is presence, it's intention, it's the grace of knowing who you are and dressing in a way that honors that woman. After 50, after 60, after decades of becoming, you've earned the right to choose only what reflects you, not what hides you. These 10 accessories aren't about trends or age. They are tools of expression, symbols of self-respect. The structured leather handbag that holds your world together, the silk scarf that catches the wind like your wisdom, the brooch that carries memory close to the heart, the sunglasses that frame your poise, the wristwatch that honors your time, the pearl or stud earrings that light your face with the softness of confidence, the polished shoes that remind the world you walk with intention, the tasteful belt that shapes not just your outfit, but your self-belief, the fragrance that lingers long after your footsteps fade, the elegant hair accessory that says, I still play with beauty, but on my own terms. These are not just objects, they're extensions of your essence, each one a quiet note in the song of your presence. Because true elegance, it doesn't ask for attention, it attracts it effortlessly, softly, powerfully. So next time you feel your outfit is missing something, look closer. Maybe it's not the dress. Maybe it's the story it's not yet telling. Maybe all it needs is a whisper of pearls, a trace of scent, a touch of shine to remind you, and everyone else, that you are not fading, you are flourishing. Your elegance is not in the loudness of your wardrobe, but in the quiet confidence of your choices. The truth is, after 50, you don't need more. You need better, fewer pieces. Stronger statements, accessories that speak. When you're silent, that reflect you even before you say a word. So go ahead, choose intentionally, dress meaningfully, and walk boldly. Because when elegance becomes your daily language, every room feels your presence before you even arrive.